Fake tough guys challenging pro fighters. Have you ever watched a professional fighter in action and thought to yourself, yeah, that actually looks like the easiest thing ever, and then acted upon that thought? Probably not, because fighting is hard, and the athletes, though mostly nice, are terrifying. Not everyone has been able to stop themselves, though. Here's a list of fake tough guys challenging pro fighters. Lorenzo Trevino takes on a street fighter. The difference between a great street fighter and a decently trained martial artist is night and day. Street fights are typically a matter of who sucks at fighting less, whereas any level of martial arts competition will see legitimate skills being tested. Enter Lorenzo Trevino, an undefeated martial artist and very skilled boxer representing Indiana. Posted on Trevino's YouTube channel is a video of him taking on a challenger that allegedly is a winning street fighter. Per Lorenzo, this man and girlfriend have been calling him out for some time now. Eventually, enough was enough. Like any coach will instruct an athlete to do, Trevino brought the action into the gym where it's more controlled, much safer, and the chance of breaking any laws is mitigated. If you can't already tell which is the skilled fighter and which isn't, Lorenzo Trevino is the fighter sporting the gray sweatpants. As soon as the action began, Trevino showed the difference between street skill and gym skill. His straight shots were landing at will, and his opponent's guard was almost completely useless. Everything with the street fighter's technique was fundamentally wrong. His chin's up when he throws, his shots lacked any technique, and he'd lose his footing anytime he attempted to land a flurry. Trevino showed off some very sharp hands and matador-like footwork. Lorenzo even gave this street fighter the Conor McGregor emote. He landed heavy to the head and ripped the body super well. The street fighter hung in there much longer than many untrained fighters would, so there's some credit to be given there. However, toughness alone doesn't win fights, and the street fighter tasted defeat and was knocked down with an overhand right. You think this street fighting tough guy learned his lesson? Carlos Condit versus Soldier. The UFC frequently held events for the troops to show support. They'd have certain fight night events for them and would send athletes to different locations to hang out and work out with the people in uniform. Carlos Condit, Michael Bisping, and a few other prominent names in the UFC went to Afghanistan to visit the troops. Chatting turned into rolling, jiu-jitsu sparring, and rolling turned into sparring. There are some unwritten rules to sparring, the most important being what Carlos told the soldier. Hit me as hard as you want to get hit. So the soldier starts things off with a bit of a cheap shot. The soldier throws his right hand at 100% and connects on the natural-born killer, which gave Condit the green light on hitting hard in response. Carlos began piecing this guy up. Body shots, quick hooks to the face, and great movement had this soldier thinking he bit off a bit more than he could chew. It was too late to go back and throw that initial strike lightly, however. Condit lands a head kick that rocks the soldier, and then a right hand that sends him to the floor of the boxing ring. Rule of thumb, when Condit says to hit him only as hard as you want to be hit, just take it lightly, because we promise he can fight better than you. Alistair Overeem versus Reporter. When a reporter challenged Alistair Overeem, no, not that clip. Yeah, this guy. When this reporter was trying to do media with Alistair Overeem, he seemed to have challenged the Reem to a grappling match. The reporter asked for no punches to be thrown, but it's Overeem. He'll do whatever he wants. As the reporter lunged forward at Alistair, it's obvious that he's going 100% and straining himself to make a point for some reason, whereas Reem is toying with him, sprinkling in some light punches here and there. While in the clinch, the reporter goes for a takedown, but Overeem sprawls out. They both land in a neutral position, but Overeem gets on top and stands back up. The reporter continues to push forward, but Overeem moves his hips and stops any takedowns. It seems that the light body shots freeze the smaller man and finally stop him from moving forward. And it's then that Overeem hit a very clean trip, sending the reporter to the mat in a very swift manner. What do you think? Did the reporter go a bit too hard right off the bat? Should Overeem have hit him harder or softer? Let us know in the comments section. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button too. Tap the bell icon and receive notifications whenever we post. Make sure that you're always in the loop with the channel. You can help us grow by sharing the video with your family and friends. Joe Rogan versus Fear Factor contestant. Not the couples therapy they asked for, but the couples therapy they needed. Joe Rogan stepped in when the wife of a toxic couple on Fear Factor attacked another contestant for chirping at her while she was in the middle of a challenge. She came over to the chirper, called him names, and assaulted him, prompting Joe Rogan to be the voice of reason. Rogan firmly stated that she can't just go around and assault people. Rogan then said that it's one thing for her and her husband to hit each other, but they can't assault others by using trash talk as a strategy. This didn't sit well with the husband, who then summoned up the courage of 20 grown men, or one Francis Ngannou, and shouted at Joe. After getting in Joe Rogan's face, the cameras cut to Rogan having the male contestant in a loose tie plum clinch. Rogan used this simply to neutralize the threat. Don't get it twisted, this position is very advantageous for Joe. He can knee, elbow, sweep, etc. from this spot, but he chose not to. This contestant's lucky that Rogan's a forgiving soul, otherwise he could have walked away with his nose touching his ear. Of all the terrifying challenges and nightmare-fueled twists that the show Fear Factor gave both contestants and the audience, it's safe to say that a fight-ready Joe Rogan is atop the list of most terrifying encounters. Should Joe Rogan have taught this guy a bit more of a lesson? Let us know what you think in the comments section down below. We'll move on from Joe Rogan to more Joe Rogan? Joe Rogan versus Comedy Store attendee. Outside the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, Joe Rogan had a discussion that unfortunately turned physical with someone attending the venue. Joe Rogan begins talking to the man about immigration laws, and the two go back and forth, all while a man in a green sweater is in between them and probably too stoned for his own good. The debate gets louder and louder, and the words become sharper because of it. Rogan thinks that this guy has no idea what he's talking about, and he lets him know that's how he feels. The person on the right is becoming increasingly more nervous. His nervous laughter and odd take on the world prompted Joe Rogan to call him crazy. He then lectured the man for not being rational and only wanting to be right about these important topics. Whether he's nervous or actually crazy, we can't tell, but he touched Joe Rogan, and Rogan warned him that if he touched him again, Joe'd choke him out. Would you look at that? He touched Rogan again. Joe locks in a guillotine choke and subdues the man. We finally get our answer on whether he's crazy or not after the choke. He said that nearly being put to sleep was exciting for him. So yeah, he's a bit crazy. That about does it for this video. Are there any other instances of fake tough guys challenging pro fighters that we should cover in our next video? Let us know down below and we'll make a part 2. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe buttons. Helping us grow the channel makes it easier for us to put out content like this video. Press the notification bell and stay up to date with us as we upload more videos.